Hello everyone and welcome back to another World of Tanks console video. My name is zenozatch and today I have with me my good old friend DWP Gaming.
Hello, how's everybody doing today? I hope y'all enjoying this update. And if you haven't already, y'all really should check out the garage now. Come on. We're getting outdid themselves in the garage this year.
We can already tell the highlights already. So today we're going to be going over everything for the Mercenary release as well as the update 4.5 patch notes, going through it step by step and letting you guys know everything you need to know about the Mercenary tanks. First and foremost, World of
Yeah,
Tanks Mercenaries is now available for download on PlayStation 4, PlayStation 4 Pro, Xbox One, Xbox One X, and Xbox 360, and is the next evolution of World of Tanks on consoles. DWP, take it away.
now with this update, we get a few new vehicles. We get the Stubbs, the Big Top, the Needle, the Slapjack, and the Plague Bringer in this first patch, in this first part. Now, the Stubbs is a Tier 5 light, a reckless and free. This tank slips through even the harshest terrains like a snake, and it strikes with the same rapid intensity. Now, when you unlock this tank with the crew comes with muffle shot and off-road driving, and the combat role is a scout. I actually do enjoy what Wargaming did with the combat roles of these tanks are. Probably have to make a video about what these roles mean. Um, the next tank is the Big Top. It's a Tier 7 medium tank. When the fighting begins, go to the south. Big Top responds to vigor, heist, and strength briefing entire cavalry troops. Now the crew comes with armored. The combat role is cavalry. You want to take Needle?
I think that one has, what is it, Deadeye and gun
I
armor?
think it only comes with Deadeye.
Let's see,
I
what
think it
is it?
comes only with Deadeye.
Yep, Deadeye and armor. So that's the perk for, because I think it's almost similar in design to the
No, that's Big
M4A1.
Top.
Yeah, no, Big Top. I'm
That's Big
saying
Top.
it almost looks like the M4A1. So because it's the Sherman, I think it's the Easy 8 Sherman. Yeah, because it's not rounded. So the next tank after that will basically come to the Tier 4 Needle. Rather than saying the eye in the eye of storm, Needle stalks around and carefully brings devastating attacks from afar. The crew itself is called Storm Hunter and comes with the perk Deadeye. And the combat role is Defender. And I will pull up that picture quick of the Needler right here. So you can see it has a pretty unique design. Kind of reminds me of like those old cartoons where the lawnmower would basically have like a chomping face. After that, we move over to the Slapjack Tier 7 Heavy Tank. Despite its lower profile, Slapjack can deliver hits with a speed and intensity that enemies may find surprising. Crew of that tank will be Fallen Knight with the pain tolerance skill and repairs. Combat role is the Defender. And I believe that is probably the one that most people will go for, or at least had the most questions about, because it was the first mercenary tank shown, which was the gun of the Tiger 1 tank with the T-29 turret, and the hull of it is an IS tank, if I remember correctly, which
Yeah, an
probably
IS
has
series.
the most
Beginning series.
mutant-like. I like this one because this one has like the most mutant-like qualities for the tank. It really just like stands out compared to the other guys. Like it's not too bad, but this one takes it a lot further than most of the other ones. And finally, we go to Plaguebringer, the Tier 6 tank destroyer, as silent and deadly as its namesake. Plaguebringer excels in silent darkness and cover and rarely fails to find its mark. Crew is Silent Paladin with the situational awareness and snapshot perk, and the combat role is Deadeye. Additionally, a whole host of new mercenary customizations have been added in Update 4.5. Emblazon your new mercenary tanks with some ferocious emblems, add an awesome mercenary inspired inscription to your vehicle, and check out 17 unique camouflage patterns exclusive to mercenary vehicles for winter, 5 summer, 5 desert, and 3 urban tanks. And before we move forward, let me find the Plague Bringer's picture. Oh, it was actually the first one.
What me and my some of my other friends are saying, this update is more like a redneck update.
Redneck
Put
update.
tanks together. Just put tanks together.
I mean, that's the whole point of the mercenaries in general is just having people that would be out in a war just slap crews together or slap parts of tanks together to be able to form their own unique tank to be able to fight back when. It's definitely a good update so far. But before we move forward, I just want to read this part because this at least gives some people some insight to the mercenaries themselves, which is a new way to earn powerful mercenary vehicles. Players will be given the opportunity to earn incredible, never before seen mercenary vehicles for free through the brand new contract system, fulfilling certain in-game objectives such as destroying a number of tanks from a specific nation. In multiplayer battles can unlock vehicles from this fascinating new armada. Each contract consists of up to 8 stages, with each stage having up to 3 tasks to complete. Each stage will have its own reward once completed, and once a player completes a full contract, they will be rewarded for the mercenary vehicle, a garage slot, and a unique crew commander equipped with the skills to help in battle. Those would be what we just went over. To take on a contract, navigate to the mercenary tech tree in the tank tabs, highlight the tank, and press the button to view contract details. This will open the new contracts tab where the status of the available contracts can be viewed and tracked as you progress through them. This is probably just giving you guys the heads up on this because I don't know if it states this. Each of these each stage of a contract can be completed for gold, or you can outright purchase any of them from the tech tree that are currently available. Now, Wargaming has not stated whether or not all of them will be purchasable, but for now, the current ones that have been released with the Mercenary line are available for purchase for quite a hefty number of gold if you guys so choose to purchase the tank outright rather than completing each of the contracts. Moving on, we're going to be going down to the mercenary maps. The mercenary universe has a far-reaching impact across the entire game, and an array of fan-favorite multiplayer battles have received total revamps to fit in the new world. You can explore the fight through and discover the strategic intricacies of battles ravaged by war and time in 8 new mercenary-themed maps. DWP, you're up.
Alright, the first map is Resource War. Money is true of war. Base resources like energy and raw material, food, water, even labor are in short supply. Economy growth is not just desirable. It's in, cannot pronounce that.
It is essential?
Yeah, essential. I almost said it right. To survive. Capturing resources, nature, and agriculture.
Agricultural?
Agriculture. Yeah, agriculture. Farming, basically.
They're using so
and
much large words for these.
Yeah, it's like they really don't need to. Industrial and termite to survive in the mercenary world. Resources are all kinds of feudal, heavily in mercenary maps. Now, all resources are war-torn, but often the most productive areas are those who somehow...
You really are tired.
I can't read today. I am tired. I just woke up. I want to apologize for that. I just woke up not too long ago. A mercenaries avoid the scars of war. Maps are contain resources like farmlands, water, power plants, mines, factories, and cities. Now, and etc. I actually think if they're going to keep bringing this is my opinion. If they keep on bringing mercenary maps, they should have like little minefields. Like you rolling out, you start seeing like little blown up little things.
Well, this is
Cause
basically
no,
going over the environments of like what you can expect whenever you see some of the revamps. These aren't the actual maps. I hope nobody got misunderstood that part. This is just if you see a new mercenary map and you wanted to know what went into the choices behind the environments themselves. This is pretty much how it states out. With three branches: resource war, walled cities, and base raiding stages areas.
yeah. If you want to go straight to the maps, we can.
Yep. The following new maps have been
Yeah.
introduced with Update 4.5, and I'll cover Rogues Harbor. Located in Pacific Northwest of United States, the military facilities at Lakewood are using a staging point for military operations along the west coast. The base, along with its nearby airfield, has ready access to rail and shipping, making it a critical logistics hub based on port. So, this will be the theme pretty much with all the current mercenary maps. They are essentially reskins of prior maps that we've had in older updates. So this is kind of like introducing some of the newer players that never got to play some of those maps, as well as bringing the veteran players to be like, I know where this map is from, but it's now completely changed, giving everyone kind of an even playing field and not having the veteran players pretty much dominate some of the newer players coming in. The camo type for this one is urban. Battle tiers that can see this map is between 5 and 7. Game modes, standard, team destruction, and encounter, and the size, it's pretty small, 830 by 830. Moving on, DWV.
Kid Matt.
Kid and Matt. You really
Kid
have
Matt.
tired.
Yeah, Kid Matt. Alright, Kid Matt is a hidden bar from praying eyes deep in Canadian wilds. This joint of Soviet and American factories harbors and forbidden secrets. Radioactive ore are processed and refined into high-grade uranium essentials to atomic to be the atomic emission of these two advanced turned allies based on the scene of the coast. Top of this map is a summer. Battle tier is 7 to 10.
Yep.
Game modes are standard, team destruction, encounter, and assault. And the size of this is the biggest map as far you can get. It's 1,000 by 1,000.
Can't wait for those ones to
This
go up.
map, yeah, I can't wait for bigger maps. What this map looks like, it's I forgot the name of that map. You and I was talking about earlier.
Based on Serene Coast. It says it towards the end, so it helps you out. Serene Coast is...
Oh, yeah, that's the name of it, because we were always talking about, like, Fisherman something.
Yep, Fisherman's Bay is one that got remodeled as well. Next, we move into Liberty Fallen, divided into rich and poor areas. This northern town on Pacific Ocean typifies the growing economic disparity of the mercenaries world. The river not only splits the city physically, but it also acts as a constant reminder to anyone of the gap between haves and the haves-nots based on Liberty Falls. The camo type for this one is Summer, battle tiers 2 to 7, and the game modes are standard and team destruction, and pretty small with an 800 by 800, just does a little bit. I have not actually played this map, even though I pretty much because I stay up in the higher tiers, but I think I want to go and see it in the team training room because it seems pretty cool. I haven't had the chance to check this one out.
You get me to say all these weird names, you know that, right?
I mean, if you want me to say the name, it's fine. Because I don't, I'm pretty sure even Wargaming messed up the way how to say this one.
It's like Stud DWP. It's Russian. I mean, it's not. It is Russian.
I think it's either Russian or German. I think it's German.
One of y'all correct us in the thing below.
You've heard Russian? I love German.
It's divided into rich and poor areas. The northern half of the city has been rebuilt and full of life, with checkpoints along the streets and to provide protection to their citizens. While the south remains in disrepair, the railway system provides a vital components to protect the securing their supplies route based on the Himmendorf map. The camel type is urban. Battle tier is battle tier to 2 to 10.
Yep.
That means this tank can see all tiers. Game modes are standard, team destruction, and counter in size. Now this is an urban map and it feels much bigger, but the size of this is actually 700 700. Now, during the live stream I had yesterday, during a 12-hour stream, we was on this map. The little checkpoints, the little guard actually goes up when you get near it.
Does it now? I had no idea.
Like the little, like you know how when some checkpoints you start seeing that stick,
Yeah,
it goes up and peel. This happens in this map. And
I think it happens on a couple.
Mate,
I remember that.
Yeah, it happens on a couple maps. And my platoon mate says, "Chad, you did a good job." This is a nice touch. A nice touch.
It's funny because they pointed out on their live stream that they did. Himmelsdorf is one of the most I think it's one of the more popular maps and one of the maps that has stayed in the game, managed to stay in the game compared to a lot of the other ones, because it has the possibility of seeing anything above tier 2 to 10, which is very rare for most maps, that they can pretty much see every tier outside of tier 1, because tier 1 has a class of its own, with the province, I believe, is the map. So it's really cool, and it's based on it's played at the it's Himmelsdorf at night, which makes the map even stand out even more. The signs are all lit up. It's a really cool adjusted, and I like the way they went with the design for this one.
I do too. And Himmendorf is a love-hate relationship. All the artists hate it. Everybody else loves it.
I would say, yeah, pretty much. It's one of those maps where everybody's like, I don't care if you're in artillery, and then when you're in artillery playing on that map, you're just like, why game? Next is Panama. A small unknown force has set up camp just outside a city, protected by high walls. While protected against an assault, the city's vital supply route has been taken over by an unknown force, cutting off all supplies, effectively blockading the city. Based on Westfield, the camo type is summer, battle tiers are 5 and up, game modes is standard, team destruction, assault, and encounter, with a size of 1000 by 1000. And I have to say, this is probably my second favorite map in the update, just because it completely threw me off, and it took me a while to realize that it was a reskin of Westfield. Which was really weird because the city is gone and it's mostly just an open field to look straight across to the other side. It really feels cool to play on, and I gotta say, all of them feel cool to play on. But this one definitely is probably my number 2 favorite on this list.
And I like it too. You still get people camping in the back of the map, but
I mean, that doesn't normally change regardless with the map. It is still Westfields. You get people to go to the outside a lot. But in this case, I think it forces a lot of people up to the northern corner, where they pretty much brawl it out. If it's not, it's settled by the northern spawn anyway. Moving on, you have
Scavenge Yard. A Savage Yard.
Salvage Yard, my friend. You really are.
Savage. I'm tired. I need to get some coffee. And wake up, put some water in my face. An active Savage Yard set up in an old battleground. Savage tanks has been abandoned and destroyed from previous wars. This provides to be a lucrative business for locals by supplying mercenaries with vile tanks. I am so tired. Components based on Mevaloka.
Malinovka.
Mevaloka. Yeah,
Malinovka.
The camel type for this is summer. Battle tier is 5. It doesn't. I've seen this map sometime. Almost every time. Game modes are standard, team destruction, assault, and counter. And the map size is 1,000. So I think this is a 5 plus also.
Yeah, yeah. It doesn't have the plus for some reason, but it is a 5. Anything above tier 5. Now, the only interesting about Salvage Yard to me is the fact that there's not really a lot that changes on Malinovka to begin with, um, because all they did was swap around some of the materials, so it's a lot easier to manage as far as like a file size. But it it seemed like there was potential to like pretty much change up the way that the dynamic of that map, or at least get rid of the farm area, because there's nothing really still that the map plays the same as the standard Malinovka, with a little bit extra space to hide your artillery. But I feel like that's probably one of the least touched maps in the update for the Mercenaries. I don't know. That's my opinion. Did you get a chance to play on this one yet, or no?
I haven't yet, so
Considering you were in 12 hours yesterday, I'm actually surprised you haven't.
I probably have, and somebody's probably going to say, "You've been on the map." I don't remember it.
Next, we move into Baja. An industrial factory and shipping port provides a critical logistics hub in the Baja California region to keep mercenaries supplied for combat. Based on the South Coast map, camo type is desert, battle tiers are 6 and above, and the game modes is standard team destruction encounter, and the size is 1000 by 1000. Now, this one for South Coast actually did take a really cool spin, because it literally got rid of all the greenery that was on that map and just made it straight. It's almost grayish color to me. I don't know if that was the intention for a desert map, but um, again, I don't. I think this and Salvage share the same consensus where they don't change that much from it, except the um, just the overall color of the map itself. Most the spawn points change the same, the choke points stay the same. Um, I feel like they could have done a lot better with that one. In Europe for the last one.
Oh, the last one, Amazon.
Yep.
Oh, Mercenaries has taken control over industrial complex in the heat of the South America to sort source vital resources based on the Arctic region. Summer, meaning the camo type is summer, battle tier is 6 through 10, game modes are standard, team destruction, encounter, and map size is 10,000. Now, I've been on this map, I'm giving you a heads up, there's a pipe in this game you can actually get onto. Don't get on it, you'll fall, and you won't get out of the puddle.
I'm looking at the pictures of it now.
It's a good map, and I actually like they changed it completely. I think that area I think is called
The
Death
choke
Valley.
point.
Not Death Valley.
The
Yeah,
choke
the
point
choke
for
point's in the
Amazon
north.
is really different now. It really is. Like that corner of the map that everybody would go to on the hill, it's changed completely. And now on top of that, people can go to the team that spawns in the northern. Or let's see. Let me make sure. No, the team that spawns in the southern spawn can actually go over to the east of the map more and get onto the outside and shoot towards anyone that's coming down the hill that was right there. Amazon is definitely one of those maps that changed one of the more critical choke points, and that's why I feel like a lot of the maps should have done is changed the way that specific map plays, not just redesign the map.
Oh, this map does change big time. I
The
actually like it.
I
Yeah,
forgot that
the
the stat there Dunkelheit for the German map. That is German. That is German. I know I'm calling it. But it actually has that blimp in the sky.
is that the only reason why it says
Kitimat.
German?
Kitimat is the one that was an old map. That one is actually pretty cool because in the center of the map actually has that huge industrial like site that allows you to now go straight through. Previously, it was a city. I actually like the fact that they changed it around so that now if a team, decides to go straight through the middle, they can actually just make it directly to the enemy spawn with actual cover, not just having a couple like buildings to block some shots. The Liberty Fallen map does interest me though, because I haven't played any of the low tiers, but
Well, Liberty Fall is during the War Story one, the very last one.
mm-hmm. The Panama map, Salvage Yard
Okay,
again.
every
Which
time you said Panama, I just think of that song.
I don't know. I like the maps. Again, some of them could have been, a little bit. I would have preferred if a lot of them would have changed some of the choke points, because it's not like they can't determine where the choke points is. That's how they base the balancing of the maps. But in this case, only some of them were kind of redesigned. Amazon is definitely the one that took probably the most change. That would be the top one as far as my new favorite maps, because it changes the way you play on that map completely. And then um, Panama, because it has a lot more fun on that.
I just realized. I mean, this is gonna be completely thing. I do not have enough time to get the big top.
Why do you think so?
It ends on the 14th, and I'm already been on the slapjack for over a week. No, it's gonna be a week.
I have mine for a week, and I'm probably gonna try to finish it up later on today. After this
Yeah,
video probably goes out. So, along with
yeah.
those go ahead.
I'm gonna go ahead and try to finish slapjack too. All right, you want to do the war story one?
I'm just gonna read through it quick. The new War Stories campaign, The Heist. Along with the Mercenary update, we got a new War Story to be added to the collection. An action-packed tale of espionage, nuclear tensions, and epic tank battles. The Heist follows a motley crew of mercenaries contracted to set up, execute, and escape from a raid on a secret facility. Their mission is to extract nuclear material on behalf of a shadowy agent who harbors his own atomic ambitions. However, the facility is actually an unprecedented joint venture between the United States and the Soviet Union, and the contract soon proves to be most dangerous, one the crew has never even taken on, or ever take on. Will the crew survive long enough to cash their checks, follow the heart-pounding escapades of Don Quixote the Collector, and Borscht the helm of the story-exclusive Trinity tank, and fight off the might of the world's two biggest superpowers in the expensive introduction of the universe of World of Tanks Mercenaries? Story crew commander the Collector comes with skills Camouflage and Sixth Sense, and the story tank is the Trinity Medium Mercenary tank. That is one that you will not be able to play in multiplayer and is exclusive to the War Stories campaign. So all those of you who know about the Trinity will definitely be disappointed.
We want the Trinity. We want the Trinity in multiplayer.
I
But it
it's
will be overpowered at
it,
tier
it
8 if it comes.
currently if that tank comes into it, it fires faster than my the with a 90 mil, because I think that uses an 88 with a 90 mil. The highest I can get with with low reload is a 90 on the Type 61, where I can get 15 rounds a minute, and that does 240 damage. The Trinity, even
The
though I
gun
believe it's using an 88, does
from the
250.
E50.
It does
The E50 tier
250
9.
damage though, and it has 16 rounds a
Yeah.
minute. That tank is definitely a little bit called overpowered if it were to come to multiplayer. So I'm kind of happy that they're just keeping it over into the mercenaries. However, they pointed it out in last week's weekly assault, which was on the what is that? That's on the 28th of June. That they are considering the Trinity tank to come over into the multiplayer, of course, with some tweaks to be more balanced with the multiplayer map or multiplayer game mode. Because if it doesn't, it will definitely piss quite a few people off.
Is
If If you don't, if you're not
if you can
driving it,
bring
of
it up,
course. If you're not driving it, of
if you can
course.
bring it up, if you can bring it up, bring up the gun that's on the E50, the 88 on the E50, tier 9.
The only problem I have with it, and this that kind of travels back to one of the old premium tanks that they had, which was the Nameless. The Nameless has an 88 that has an average damage roll of 300 on an 88, compared to the Edelweiss, which was an 88 but has a 240 average damage. So it kind of threw people off as to why an 88 can have such different damage rolls. So if they were to decide to just lower the reload of the Trinity and make it more balanced out with a tier 8 tank, then I feel like it'd still be pretty good. But of course, that's for any of you to go and look and play the War Stories mode. I encourage you to play the new Heist War Story. I haven't gotten a chance myself. DWP, did you get a chance? Or
Yeah, I play it. I enjoy it.
that tank?
I want the tank.
I checked all the stats because they were releasing some of the news about it. I checked all the stats for that tank and I was like, yep, if this becomes a premium tank, it'll definitely cause some things. And that's something else that they should address. Is that tank considered a premium tank for the Mercenaries? Because I know the other tanks that are in the other war stories are. The Snakebite is one. The Centurion, I forgot which exactly. It's a HMH Centurion is also another premium tank. Is this one going to be a premium? I don't remember.
To me, if I don't think it should be a premium because one, it is actually using real tank components. Because, like, for instance, like I said, the gun that's on it is on the tier 9 E50 German medium. It's the 88, not the one off.
Well, premium tanks themselves still use the same resources for guns and stuff. I just didn't know if because they haven't really, none of the mercenary tanks are currently premium tanks. They're tanks that come with skills already, but they're not premium tanks. They're all just standard tech tree tanks. I don't know if the Trinity was classified as a premium tank or if it's just classified as a standard tank, because it doesn't say it either. Huh. Probably something I'll have to check at a later date.
Or we can always wait into the future.
Yeah, again, they said they were talking about it. They were talking about last week's Weekly Assault about maybe implementing it into a premium tank, or maybe it becomes a premium but has a different. That might be a good way to bring it into the standard matchmaking. Is just give it a premium vibe and then just adjust some of the stats for it. Should be fine. Alright, so we're going to be moving over into update 4.5 patch notes, something a lot of people want to know about, and definitely the details always matters. The details in the notes, as they always say.
The update size for the 360 is a 88 megabytes title update with a 1.5 gigs download. That's for the 360. For the One is a 7.1 gigs, and for the PS4 is 6.5 gigs. I always wonder, why is the Xbox One always has the highest amount of gigs?
I'm not sure why it does. Mostly because, again, a lot of their games, even if you own the disc copy, when it automatically installs onto it. So I don't know. It's probably just an Xbox thing where it requires more memory or uses more memory. Not too sure.
Still.
So we went over the War Stories, the new features that they have, which is War Stories, the Heist. We went over that. The contracts, again, for those of you who don't realize, once a player completes the full contract, they will be rewarded with the Mercenary tank, garage slot, any crew commander equipped with their associated skills. Mercenary tank tree, the Mercenary garage, DWP. Take it away, because I know this is probably your biggest and most favorite part of this update. So long, it's not mine, but you know.
Alright, the Mercenary Garage. Now this is the 4th of July, even though it looks really good.
Oh, let me see if I can pull it up on mine, actually. I might be able to. I just have to stream it. while you're discussing it, I will pull it up an image for those people who would like to see it. Go
Alright,
ahead.
first, I'm gonna go ahead and read what they says in the thing right here. The Mercenary tanks are a new nation of vehicle exclusive to World Tanks console. As these new mercenary units scramble and arm themselves, many are forced to buy or salvage whenever they can. Armored units will be built from mixed parts scattered to become nail marks of mercenary units. Compare, socialize, and purchase or licensing of surplus tanks components in the Navy from national armories sprung forward to meet demands of the mercenary units. Not behold to any one country. Mercenary pick and choose their components based on cost and performance. Mercenaries will have their own tech tree. However, tanks are not linked, researched, or purchased like any other tanks. Mercenary vehicles are titled to contracts, and once the tank associated contract is complete, you will receive the tank. Each tank also comes with a unique crew, commander, and set of skills that's already in it. Now, what I'm going ahead and say about this, one, like this says in there, mixing parts from components. I think personally, Wargaming we had to go out there and destroy a certain tank. Determine how many times. It makes people forced to go to lower tiers and mixed tiers to find that one tank component. But that's the only downfall. But I love the idea where people can earn these tanks.
I like the fact that they're not linked. You don't have to go in specific order. If that's a tank you want specifically, then you go for that. Because I know there's a lot of people that wanted to come into World of Tanks to play the Tiger 1, and unfortunately they had to go through that entire Tier 1 to Tier 6, then on to their Tier 7 before they could even play the Tiger 1 tank, which again is a real hassle. But for the Mercenaries, doesn't matter what tier it is, it's established with a contract, you complete the contract, you earn your tank. Definitely a different switch for any of the veteran players that have grinded through 90% of the game and want something extra to do. It definitely pushes you towards, hey, I want a tier 7 tank, let me go for that tank. Complete the contract, big top, slapjack, done. So, as far as the patch notes go, we've already covered the tanks and what crew they go with, so we won't have to go over that again. I don't... The Mercenary Garage I was highlighting while you were reading through that. The new Mercenary Garage is an encampment and is finally, after 4 years of playing World of Tanks on console, we get an outdoor garage, which is more reminiscent of anyone who plays on PC, because I don't know how long they've had the garage to be on the outside, but it changes with the season, and currently, again, it's 4th of July, just going to bring it up while DWP basks in its glory.
I actually like this. If I actually spend basically an hour going around looking in this garage. You start seeing people in the background moving. Right now you see some people around a campfire back there. I mean, there's a Jeep, a Jeep. You see people over tables. This, believe it or not, this map makes me feel like a Jurassic Park. Like I'm in a Jurassic Park movie or something. Like, out of the blue, you can see. Out of the blue, I was like, where in the hell is the T-Rex at?
It's definitely
I enjoy this map.
I know a lot of people enjoy the garage right now. I mean, a lot of people. It's definitely one of the things that have just stood out the most as far as this update goes.
I like the attention to detail, though, on some of these maps. With the lights up there by the flag, you'll start seeing little gnats flying around it.
Nice. Been paying too much attention. You're too focused. Moving along, we have the hero crew portraits. Before we move on to, just as an idea, I remember from last week's Weekly Assault again that they were talking about, or at least maybe considering, because the area looks so kind of empty, not in the current current version with the 4th of July garage design, but just the standard version of it. They were thinking of maybe later on. I'm not saying they're going to implement it or not. Considering having it to where if you're in a platoon, you'd be able to see your platoon mates drive up in their tanks that they select. And it'd be a really cool idea to have, and I'd love to see it come because that would be definitely a second unique thing to console, along with some of the other exclusive console exclusive tanks that we already have. And getting out of it, it's pretty cool. I like the idea, and I hope that sees the light of day sometime in the future. Um, Moving along, we have the hero crew portraits. Certain hero crew portraits are now available in the crew customization are identified by a star in the top right corner of the portrait. Now, I haven't gone through that, so I'm not exactly sure if they're because some being a hero crew isn't necessarily being one of the special crews that come with that unique perk that you paid for. Which, like the snake bite has its snake bite skill, the hidden has the camouflage skill already loaded on it. But let's see, the snake bite has its own unique skill. I forgot what the Bogatir has the Iron Mace skill, which is a unique skill. Can you think of any other one, DW? I'm trying to think. I know those two. I don't think those are included.
Snakebite.
Snakebite.
The Craft Panzer. Craft Panzer has a unique skill. If I'm correct.
Oh, yep, you're right. The Craft Panther has the supply conversion skill. That's unique. So that's three. I know there's supposed to be like 4 or 5 of them. That have like specific. If you delete that crew portrait, you lose that perk forever.
No, you don't.
You're supposed to. If you change the crew portrait of one of those guys, you lose that perk. It'll give you an open slot.
I didn't lose it. It didn't give it. I still have it on my I still have my snakebite crew on my chieftain.
No. If you change the portrait. Like you did.
I changed the portrait. Yeah. I'll take a picture of this real fast and send it to you.
That's weird. I know they had said that. Maybe they didn't update and let us know, but we also got a new launcher update, Launcher 2.0. The launcher receives an art update while also adding a new functionality, such as loading straight into the store and a debug report in the new launchers. Players can also read through what's new, choose to play in the minigame, and view a featured item. And I know this. I want to bring up a couple things with this. There's still, while you're loading into the game, it still gives you a what's new tab so you can scroll through. This is after the launcher, by the way. It still gives you the what's new tab as well as your featured item that's being sold. The debug report is new, but I know a lot of players were bringing up concerns about having it to where on the launcher it has the what's new as well as while you're loading into the garage has that tab. So that might be removed later on. However, currently there are no updates as to what's going to be put in its place there. Moving on, we went over the maps already, but we can move into the improvements. Are you still there, DW? You're still taking that picture?
Yeah, I already took the picture. I'm just waiting to uploads.
Alright.
That's the improvements. Now this is actually funny, very funny. This one mechanic, I did not know about it until I did my first match. I said something is off. Everything sounds different. New engine and treads audio. Some material resources in the high revolutions and real historical tanks levers through the wires. Multi-channel recording offered WIs. Multi-channel recording offering true interior perspective from inside the hull and turret, exterior, interior gear rattling, bumps such as ammo cans moving around, fuel tanks moving around, and other items that have been painstaking
painstakingly
recording in recording and mapping the tank physics. Tread sounds were effects were captured live and have been mapped to the tank's physics, uh, factoring velocity, tread, speed, differential, and numerous other variables in real time. Now, some of these tanks, yeah, they may sound like a vacuum, but you really gotta think about it. These big engines, some of them do sound like that. Not like a turbine. Turbines are much louder.
I think a lot of the like complaints I've seen as far as it's been, hey, what are the engines and why does this engine sound like this? Why does it? And a lot of things people have to, or at least things people have to consider is a lot of the tanks in World of Tanks, um, are hard to find as in functioning order. So what they're saying in this is basically, hey, we use sources for tanks from a different from maybe a different tank that may have had the same engine or same sounds, but modified it using a program on Wargaming's part so that it would fit that tier, let's say a tier 2 tank that never existed, to a tier 5 engine or something like that. So do take that into mind while you're listening to it, because again, you can't get the exact historical sound of a tank that no longer exists or no longer runs, to be exact. And I know I've seen a lot of people, and I mean a lot of people, give Wargaming crap about the sounds in the game. But again, they
It sounds like vacuums.
I've heard vacuums. We were making fun of it in my stream. The guys are calling it Roombas. The little vacuum the little vacuum robot that just rolls around.
Yeah,
Someone
during a, during a 12-hour stream, somebody says the E5 powered by Hoover.
I heard one. The other one was somebody was like, why does your tank sound like a tractor? That one was pretty cool. Mine, I will not lie to you. I forgot what tank I was driving. One of them did sound like a lawnmower. Like if you were inside your house and you heard your neighbor cutting their lawn, a lawnmower, it really did sound like that. But again, that's just me giving them crap. I do like the fact that they literally went out and individually recorded and mapped the tank physics for every item you see on that tank. If there was a sound that it made while the tank was driving, if you hear it in game, you can and pay attention to the detail. You'll pretty much know that Wargaming have really stepped up and tried to give you as best quality audio that you can get in a moving, 20-ton, 30-ton, 40-ton vehicle, which shows that they are really dedicated to the player base and to giving them really good sound quality.
Yeah, you can also hear when you're like in a turret in sniper mode. You can hear the electrical motors
Mm-hmm.
moving a turret in the gun. Like,
Really, it sounds really good when you're just there. But again, there's always going to be people out here, myself included, sometimes just pointing out, hey, why does this sound like this? And again, it snapped back to me. Some of these tanks didn't exist.
I think I think
Modifying it,
Wargame should make like a little video, make it like a little video, so how they
showing
did these
showing some of the
sounds.
steps. I would
Yeah,
definitely like to see that. You're right. We could probably bring that up to Rybot. So that we'll leave that one for a different time before we keep making this one long. New map loading music, and I have to say I
now
really
I
enjoy
haven't
this.
heard I haven't heard any of the music because me personally, I muted my sound
No,
back
no,
on the
this one is
360. I
this
don't listen to me.
this one is when you're playing on before you even load into the game. Like when you start up the game, the loading sequence, the new title page of the game actually
Mine's
has a
muted.
new music. Really? I could hear it,
Yeah,
and I have mine muted.
I never heard it. I never
You
paid
gotta check
attention.
it. It's really cool. So it's a large scale project for the World of Tanks team. The new soundtrack was recorded by the Prague Symphony Orchestra and aims to create military tank music that is as authentic as possible for each map. Each map now has its own musical signature that ties to the loading screen and post battle results together as a cohesive musical composition. The new theme music and the garage music was written by award-winning composer Inon Zur. New adaptive garage and launcher music is rolling out alongside the new War Stories campaign score. Also, for improvements, we have new UI, updated icons and artworks to have a worn appearance. New stencil front for the HD consoles only, so anybody that's using HDMI for the Xbox One. I think some of the 360s has an HD adapter. Some of them should. They have HDMI on 360 too, but I don't know if
I think
this.
the later generation.
Yeah, towards the end. They added two new flags to the emblem section. You can find the Egyptian flag and the Dunkirk flag. I didn't know.
Dunkirk!
I didn't know about the Egyptian flag one. I remember Rybot talking about it again on the weekly assault last week, or no, it wasn't the weekly assault. It was the dev stream for update 4.5. Um, Added existing emblems as flags, and we have updated tank descriptions for the following tanks: the T-44, the Chieftain, and the Tiger 2. Some other
Yeah, let me see if
features.
they actually change it, though.
No, they actually did. It was actually pretty cool. Bots will now follow the fallback radial command. I know that's always been an issue when you have your bots run out in front of you, of course, to try to take out an enemy. New artwork for filter icons. Improved crew portraits and Grizzly. Any of you those who own your current Grizzly Canadian tank, the Mark of Excellence markings changed to red for visibility, because I think it was actually white, and not a lot of people were actually able to see their own Marks of Excellence on the Grizzly, because if you guys didn't realize, it's the Sherman is actually just a white camoed Sherman with, I think it's still a maple, was it a maple leaf? I know there's a maple leaf on the side, but I don't know what the Marks of Excellence is. Is it a bend or is it a maple leaf?
I don't know. I never. You remember, I don't own the Grizzly.
No. I'm saying I would assume you have someone that does, or if you knew exactly what the Marks of Excellence would be on it.
What tier do you see me usually play?
I'm not gonna lie, a lot of low tiers, seal clubbing.
Oh, really?
Don't worry, as I know, I play in the high tiers too. Some additional changes and some more welcomed ones. I know a lot of people were complaining about maps. Well, added the following maps back into rotation. Redshire 1944 has made its comeback, Northwest, Tundra, and the Tundra Winter map. However, due to these, we also have one tank leaving the rotation, which I doubt a lot of you will probably even care up. It's the Wide Park Rain variant, moved due to performance issues. I don't remember. I know they mentioned this on their dev stream last week, but I don't know what the performance issue was for that map.
But this is actually what I'm actually excited about. This is part of what I'm thinking. Since Wargaming broke the 50 gig limit, that means we can have more maps now. So I'm hoping this is true. We might be seeing more maps now.
Yeah.
And probably bigger updates.
To be honest, I'd like to see them, because now that they're not constrained by the 50 gig limits, I'd like to see them take seasonal maps.
Okay.
Not take them away, like a seasonal map rotation. So every few months, the maps that we currently have, even if it's not an update, because we get a weekly update patch to just automatically launch. Like, hey, we have these set of maps that you could see in rotation. If you play on this map, you could get your earnings for that map could be doubled, and you double your silver if you played on that map. For those people who play a lot like us, we might end up making more silver, but it's to encourage, hey, these maps currently in rotation can also offer you some extra silver if you manage to get it. That kind of stuff with map rotation kind of helps, because again, you played 12 hours yesterday. How much times did you see a specific map, like one map just popping up in your rotation? I played 7 hours and I've had the same map pop up on me within an hour 4 times, 5 times.
Yeah.
It's kind of
I was trying to say, I'm going to ask you this. You know the map I hated back on the 360?
No.
And I actually miss it? Dragon Ridge.
Dragon Ridge is definitely. I actually miss, and
It's
I forgot the exact. I don't remember the name, but it was it did have the
the
Chinese map.
wall.
The
I think it's
Wall
like
was
the
a
wall or
good
something like
one.
that.
I know which one you're talking about. The Wall was a good one, but it had that huge like imperial castle in the middle of the map. It had a bunch of Chinese designs, architecture all over or yeah, Chinese designs all across it. I don't remember the map, but I know that was removed back along with Dragon Ridge because they share the same resources. And again, I hope that because of this, if they since they now are not tied to the limit for the memory, we can see some of those older maps come back in because I know that's one of the things PC unfortunately they don't have a limit, but to keep some of their stuff, they move tanks out of rotation just for that. So it's like, I'd like to see some of those really old ones for the nostalgic feeling at least. So we're going
So,
into the bug fixes.
bug fixes.
You're up.
There's general. Oh, me up, really? Okay, adding missing text outline and objective text updated. Base training fixed. Mission objective labeled. Polished. Fix overlapping timer and challenge mode. Polish objective text no longer turret. Fix text overlap and garage for Versal war stories. Expired silver accounts. Expired silver accounts not access to what's new screen.
I think that's referring.
Expired silver.
Those are for the people that like have only a month of gold, and then they can play with the tanks.
Oh.
But when they go back to like your account goes from, we have Xbox Live Gold. Well, Xbox Live Silver is for those who can't access the complete stuff for Xbox Live.
Alright. Okay, removing incorrect vibrations at the start and the sequence match. I actually like that though. Like at the start, you can you hold your control, you can feel the controller vibrating. It feels like the tank is starting up. I don't know.
I think that's is that? No, this is for a spectator match.
Oh, a spectating match. All right, fix log issues, labeling, customizing crew, and retraining. Korean. Fix plies conversion descriptions. Tournaments. Defeat victory pop-up now happens instantaneously. Instant. These big words. I'm a redneck.
Point taken.
WS Runaway War Story Runaway Tiger changed bot spawns to move towards the final objective. Italian adding missing space and confirming windows. Adjust the MG3 MG42 machine gun model to be more accurate. Basically, they just redoing the machine gun on that one. Some of these tanks actually has those guns.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what gun actually has it. I think the Fury has those guns. Like the MGs, I think.
Not too sure.
Control no longer rumbles as reconnecting to a match. That's one thing that happened to me during the 12-hour stream. Somehow the servers went down on me. So I know what y'all was talking about. I thought all y'all was joking, to be honest. Chinese. Fixed translation for convert invisible loading screen. Removing elite celebration from war story tanks. Fix the color of the flags for overload.
Mongolia.
Mongolia? Is that like
the flag of Mongolia?
Oh, Mongolia?
Yeah.
That's over there on China and stuff, right?
Yep.
No. Okay. I'm not.
Keep going. No worries.
Fix miners and various emblems. Fix Turkish VO using English lines. Fix scrolling on the ops tabs. Connecting encounter capture bar now correctly updated. Filter icons now move as filtered open and close.
Oh,
I think this was talking about is how the filters are working.
Yeah, now when you slide into the filters, it'll actually show you which one you're selecting. Okay, so along with some of those bug fixes for those of you who kept up with that, because I know there's a long list of stuff in this game that you want to be fixed that's bugged. Those mostly are addressed with some minor details here. Some tanks also received some bug fixes. The IKV-103 fixed wire mesh on exhaust. The Medium 3 removed incorrect texture inside the barrel. The T-26E5 fixed popped turret destroyed state. The Toll D3 removed wiggly bits from destroyed tank. Fixed track teeth, removed camo from the headlights, and fixed camo direction removed from suspension, and fixed seams on gun. The T-29, or the T-29, not to be confused with the American one, removed camo that was applied to wiggly bits and fixed barrel location in first person view. The Kraft Panzer IV removed camo that was on viewports, adjusted flag positions to prevent clipping onto turrets or into turrets. The Fortress Ferdinand fixed tracks clipping into road wheels in destroyed states, removed camo that was on gunner's sight, smooth textures on gun barrel. The M4 Ravioli fixed incorrect engine name. Okay, I was going to wonder about that. The Object 261, the artillery removed camo that was on the seats. I don't remember ever seeing that. How did they get a camo on a... Is that the seat inside the tank? What?
Yes, there's a seat inside the tank.
But no, but I'm saying, how did they get the
Yes.
camo on that? That's really cool. The Guardian SDG removed camo that was on the glass, removed wiggly bits from the destroyed tank, and removed barreled in sniper cam. I don't know why people always get confused about that. But I guess that's a pretty cool one. Sabaton fixed wobbly roller wheel.
Why? I love the wiggly wheel. I love it. I love it.
The M46 Patton fixed ammo belt on machine gun. I'm assuming that's the one on the top. Cromwell Berlin aligned track and drive sprockets. Fixed muzzle brakes on holes on various tanks. So I assume those are the tips for the muzzles. The WS Hellcat fixed camo on gun barrel, or War Stories
They
Hellcat.
did take the wheel away.
Scorch fixed textures on the pop turret, smooth gun barrel geometry, and fixed sand accumulation. The Rheinmetall Panzerwagen fixed missing marks of excellence. Ooh, that would have been an issue. I have that tank. The Warlord Panther fixed textures on destroyed wheels. The HMH FV305 fixed missing marks of excellence. I noticed that because I didn't have it. The Atomic Centurion removed camo from wiggly bits. Skoda T25 adjusted engine's fire location. Skoda T50 adjusted the engine's fire location. The Ram 2 has fixed snow accumulation. The T54E1 has fixed camo scaling. The T57 has fixed camo scaling. The M46 Patton has fixed camo scaling. The Chrysler K has fixed micro dot camo scaling. The Egg Panther fixed accumulation effects on destroyed state. Object 212 fixed destroyed state, and the Atomic Centurion kangaroo emblems now face forward. I always wondered about that because the kangaroo emblems would go to the back of the turret. I was like, don't you want them to the front? That's funny.
Come on, the runaway kangaroo. War Story, maybe.
Right? Finally, we have maps bug fixes. Castorine Pass adjusted rocks at several locations to prevent getting stuck. Karelia fixed terrain decal at G5. Redshire removed a rock at E0 to prevent getting stuck. Ensk added missing particles and debris from destroying or when destroying a building. Ardennes moved a rock at J8 to prevent getting stuck. Siegfried Line fixed flashing in building at E6. Fisherman's Bay War. Fire no longer floating at D8. Aww. Fisherman's Bay, players can no longer access J0. Oh, that's that spot that everybody goes to in the corner that hides. Okay, I know they blocked that from the standard Fisherman's Bay. I guess they finally did it for Fisherman's Bay War as well, but I'm assuming they missed that. Nomenhan added rocks at F4 to prevent getting stuck, although that map doesn't need any more rocks. What it needs is a better map design to begin with. El Alamein map order now visible at K5. Scorpion Pass added rocks to G8 to prevent getting stuck. Prokhorovka, Winter, fixed ground collision to match visual at B4, and Runeberg War in Winter, fixed flashing building at E9. Well, that covers everything that's in update patch notes for 4.5. So, there's some stuff to be discussed here. For those of you who did not realize this, and if you made it all the way to the end of this video expecting something from Update 4.5, again, Wargaming had pointed out prior to the release of Update 4.5 that 4.5 would actually be focusing all on the Mercenaries. So for those of you who got your heart broken, like DWP here, you're going to have to wait until...
Okay, I didn't get my heart broken.
Severely. You're going to have to wait until Update 4.6 to get yourself a hold of any of the other tanks that a lot of people have been wondering, which should lead us to getting... I don't know if that'll be in necessarily the next update, the Super Conqueror, the Foch 50B, or the Badger, along with the update of that M48A5 patent, which I know a lot of people really want that turret update. Nothing has really been solidified as far as this, but that's just to give you guys a heads up. So, it's been 1 week. We've all played at least some version of this in the Mercenaries. DWP, give me some of your thoughts and feedback.
This is actually a good update. This is something Wargaming needed to do. Something different for veteran players and new players coming in. Me personally, I still think personal missions should be a thing to come in that does not have a time limit. Like have something like different, like have another tab that says opt-in, it says personal missions.
Yeah, no, that's pretty cool.
That's one of the things, but the contracts is actually a good way for veterans and new players coming into the game to come to do something different. New garage, I love the garage. The only thing I dislike how you can out purchase basically for the mercenary tanks for people to can actually just purchase the tank itself. I don't like that much. I think you should at least have to do one of the contracts, one of the high ones. Like at least just do like a stage 7 between stage 6 through 8. You had to do at least one of those to get the tank. But go straight out skipping. I actually liked the skipping part because Wargaming actually is making money doing that.
They make money regardless.
But yeah, they're making money regardless. You gotta think this is a free-to-play game, yes, but Wargaming needs to make money to keep this game going forward. Like I said, we're going into like 4.5 years now.
Which is actually very funny because we're at update 4.5. I just realized that 4.5 years and we're at update 4.5. I don't know if that was timed or not. It's actually really on point for it.
Yeah. I've been playing since the beta, even though I don't have my beta tag on the forums for some odd reason, but I did play on the beta. But now on the forums, I'm a long contributor. I love this tank. I love this game. I played it on the PC when it came out. I wasn't one of the beta testers on there. I came much later. But, like I said, the only thing I dislike about this update is how people can outright purchase the tank. I mean, that's my only saltness on it.
Saltiness. Alright, so I'll be honest. I like the update. The update basically means the World of Tanks console has finally stepped out from Big Brother's shadow. You know, every time you come around a corner to a new update, everything that's people have seen on PC, whether that be from Quickie Baby, be from Jingles, Zircons, or Fosh, any of the PC community contributors, anytime someone sees an update from PC, they say, hey, when's this coming on the console? Now, in this case, we might still get those stuff that you see on PC. However, now console is stepping out from under the shadow where we can start implementing our own stuff that does not have to be associated with what we see on PC. Now, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing can still be determined by those players who always question everything Wargaming does. But in my eyes, it's a great step to make for them to start putting the game, putting stuff in the game that they want to see. Now, moving into the Mercenaries, or as far as the Mercenary update itself, in my opinion, Wargaming has to be very careful with this update because this update has definitely shifted the tone for World of Tanks console, not only from just coming out from PC, but also shifting the philosophy behind it, where a lot of people are always concerned about pay to win in a game, in a free to play game, and this definitely has hints of pay to win in it. Just like DWP said, you can purchase a contract tank or a mercenary tank outright. You can purchase it if you're looking on screen right now. Each tank has a gold price slapped with it. There are a couple tanks that in the mercenary tech tree that you're seeing that are not available. Will those be purchasable as well? Is yet to be determined. But the current tanks that we have are definitely some of the most. The tier sevens are some of the most expensive tanks in World of Tanks in general. They are the most expensive standard tanks because again, a mercenary tank is not a premium tank. They come with skills loaded on their commanders, but they're not premium vehicles. They don't grant you a premium bonus, and that's definitely a pretty big negative to have or to incentivize people to spend money in this game. Whether that be to skip phases, which I agree with DWP, it's a good feature for those people who have the gold, to be able to just skip through a phase that they find difficult or they don't like. But it's definitely not. It's incentivizing people to spend more money than they should have to on the game. Which again, I have to point out, you do not have to spend any money on the mercenary line. Every tank in the mercenary line is earnable, but having an option to purchase them with gold um, should not have been introduced with the update, in my opinion.
I I will go on record. I did spend some gold to skip one part of this contract, and it was at the beginning because I didn't. No one told me about the mercenary tab. So,
Ah, okay, okay.
and I
Those
did
are-
not. And the tiger tank I had was not the tiger. I would had to use an 88. The gun I needed to use, I didn't have no tank that had that gun, and I didn't feel like buying that tiger.
I definitely do like that. You don't have to, because if you read the contract or the details of the contract, each of the contracts give you can use specific tanks or a specific tank with or anything of equivalent or higher. No, it has to be a specific tank or anything in that tank's tier. So for the Tiger one that you're talking about, it could have been either anything from the Tiger one tank, a stock Tiger one, all the way up to the
To
E100.
the Yeah, I
Uh,
didn't know about that.
a lot of
I
people,
didn't look into it
uh,
too much later.
yeah, a lot of people had that problem where they were looking at it and it was like that's also one of my other things. I don't necessarily like how they constrict the contract constricts players in completing a contract. I know some people like it where you can have, hey, you need to use this specific tank to complete this specific objective, instead of incentivizing people to complete a part of that contract with any tank. Um, kind of feels like a little bit of a that's where the skill gap is. It's like you have to use this specific tank or this section of the tech tree. I don't like that. I like incentivizing players to complete a specific objective with any tank or in their own unique way. That could have been adjusted. I like the idea of the mercenary tanks. If you guys are keeping up with me here, I just don't like the implementation that Wargaming has with it. It's not, in my opinion, it's not what it could have been. And it just feels a little bit. And I hate to be the negative person compared to DWP for it. We both have our own opinions on it. It just feels a little bit lackluster in implementation. But again, the tanks themselves are definitely a great addition to the game. Not too overpowered currently. Um, they all feel perfectly balanced, in my opinion. I haven't gotten to play any of all of them, but I've seen the gameplay of it. Um, they seem pretty good. Anything to add on to it, DWP?
Man, I like to say, yeah, we are contributors to wargaming, and we do have a right to our opinion to give y'all a heads up.
Yeah, it's not like we are controlled or anything. I hope people don't get that idea. We pretty much have our own opinions on this, and I feel like that should be stated. That again, we are stating our own opinions. You guys might disagree with us. Some of you might agree with us, but in this case, we want to make sure that we're being honest with the feedback that we give. I'll probably make
Yeah.
a separate video of it myself, just whenever I earn one of these tanks and play them. I don't know if you plan on the same thing. Is every time you earn a tank, just going back and being like, this is how you earn it. This is how you feel about the tank. Those are later
I
on
mean, I
videos.
was so far for a tier 7, I can see this the slapjack is. If you actually think about all the experience you need to earn a tier 7, it fits in. It fits into how it feels. Because it takes about a week to get to tier 7 on a new tank line.
Yeah, no, it definitely does. Again, I like the contract system. I just don't like having it be constrictive of the tanks that you use. If you could use any tanks, because then again, I'll point like I'm doing the stubs, you're doing the slotjack. Having to stick to, for me, I have to stick to Americans, Germans, or it's Americans, Germans, or British.
British.
Those are the nations that I have to stick with in order to complete the stubs. If you broadened it to where you don't have to use a specific tank, you can use these nations' vehicles, then it's really cool. But having it to where you need to use this specific tank, like in one of my sections, I had to use the VK, I forgot what the number is, 1601 Leopard, or anything higher than that in the tech tree that's connected to it. And I'm just sitting here like, I have the Rheinmetall Panzerwagen at tier 10. Do I really have to go all the way back, to play a lower tiers? Because I have to get in another part of that, I have to get a kill that's 2 tiers above me. Meaning I then have to purchase, um, I have to purchase a lower tier in order to complete a certain part of my contract. It feels a little bit like that's what they're trying to make the skill gap, and that shouldn't be there. I don't know. Again, I like the update in
That's
general.
that.
Implementation could
It
have used a
feels
little bit
like,
fixed.
like I said, I still think it should have been around. Like you had to go after these tanks, like the parts of these tanks.
Kill a
I still
certain
think
number
that'd
of
been a little
them.
bit better.
Kill a certain number of them.
Yeah.
The only difference is you can't kill. The only thing with that again would be is how many people would you know that actually would go out there and play them. That's the only part about
Well,
searching and killing
well, you
those
got.
things.
This is why. That's what I'm trying to say. Like for instance, you have to. Like for instance, you gotta go to kill a tiger.
To
They
get the
have it
gun.
like on one of the other to get the gun. Yeah, but on one of the other contracts, like if you have the tiger, you get. If you use a
Sorry.
tiger variant, let me phrase it, a tiger variant, you get like a bonus, like a .2 experience bonus or something like that.
Oh, I
Make
see what you're
encourage people
saying.
to play that
Like
one
if
thing. Yeah.
yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. So if you like, it's hey, I need a T29 turret. Well, then you need to go hunt T29s. But for the people that are driving T29s, you get an additional five
Or
percent experience.
T29 variants. Or T29 variants.
Oh yeah, forgot about the new Minuteman T29. But if you
Coming
drive that
out.
tank, then you get a bonus, a 5% bonus for playing that specific tank. I see what you're saying. That's definitely some of
Yeah.
the stuff that should follow along with it. But um, in my opinion, they should have gone with earning these tanks with experience. You could still spend gold to convert experience because I know a lot of people still spent gold on purchasing these tanks, which is well into the $400 range for those tanks right now for all of them. You could have still had it to where if it's gold, this means that people who are playing for silver have to complete a contract in order to earn them. Free to play players, we're all free to play players. But premium players like me and you that run premium time a lot of the times have an advantage because we can acquire those tiers for the specific part of that contract a lot faster than any of the other people that are just free to play. If it's free experience, anybody can earn free experience over time, or if you're like spending money in the game, you convert free experience from the store. You could still spend gold, but it would have been a great way for people to have to earn up to the amount of free experience for that tank. I don't know. It's definitely one of those things. Again, opinions are opinions. Again, the tanks are still pretty cool. They look cool. They look unique. Um, they're a good addition to the game. It's just a little bit sad to see gold gold stickers all over them for prices. I'm trying to remember how much that 15,000. The big top and the slapjack are tier sevens, but they cost more than tier eight tanks currently.
And the funny thing, oh, this is actually the funny thing I think is funny. Um, can I go put this in words? If you actually take a look at this mercenary tech tree, it looks like it's going to be a lot bigger than what they're bringing on.
Oh no, they definitely said that in the dev stream. They definitely said that currently this is just the tanks that they have in here. At the start of the mercenaries, when they first started getting ideas, there was 400 plus tanks in the idea pool, and that was cut in half almost instantaneously because there was just some ridiculous requests that people wanted to submit. That was then further balanced, and that was cut in half again. So we could have up to about
50.
100 tanks that they could potentially put in this, which would they would then have to redesign the way the tech tree in this looks. But there's a lot of tanks that could be introduced along in the mercenary tech tree, and it would be great to see. Um, just again how these work out. I know the tier 10. You can already see a tier 10. There's no tier 9. There's a tier 8. They all look pretty cool, and I hope everybody is actually trying to grind them out and not be those few people, the select few elite that decide to purchase all of these tanks. I've seen a couple people with them already. Hopefully those were earned and not purchased. Again, if you can earn a tank over purchasing a tank, I suggest earning it before purchasing it. And I mean,
You feel
really,
much better with yourself.
yeah, rather than
And
dipping into your
people,
wallet.
you'll be getting a little bit more respect from the community.
Definitely, I'd like proof of people completing a contract and earning that tank. But again, these are our thoughts and opinions on Update 4.5, as well as any of the information that you guys would need to know. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. For me, you could find me at Twitter at zenozatch, on YouTube at zenozatch as well. Twitch, www.twitch.com, twitch.tv/zenozatch, and DWP. Where can these lovely people find you?
They can find me on Twitch, like twitch.tv/DWP1992. On YouTube, all you gotta do is type in DWP Gaming, and you see some of my YouTube videos. You can find me on Twitter at DWP1992NS. And I do have an Instagram. I forgot the name for my Instagram. You can see what I look like. And my Discord, DWP1992, hashtag number 1205. If you have any questions or you would like to join the stream, you can always feel free to message me. Or message me on Xbox. And I am going to say this, I'm going to ask Wargaming if it's possible I can do like once a week, go on to the War Tanks Twitch webpage, and y'all can send me videos, like little game clips from my gameplay, and I react to them for about an hour or 2 hours on the stream.
You're setting yourself up already.
I know I'm setting myself up, but you never know. Wargaming might let me do that.
Yeah, I want to see this. I have so many clips I can go back and get. I have to dig through all of them.
It can be old, it can be new, and everything like that, but It's something that I'm going to try to work with.
Oh, the humanity. Well, that's it from us, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. I know it's on the long side, but we'll catch you in game, and have a good night.
May the RNG gods be with you.
Bye.